Edinburgh Fringe is officially over, you guys. Oh my god, I believed it would never end. Like, it felt this year like Groundhog Day, when you wake up and you do exactly the same things, and you wake up and you do exactly the same things, except that this time something more and more fucked up would be happening every single day. This year was my worst fringe ever. And I'm not just talking about Edinburgh, I'm talking about with all the other festivals in Australia and otherwise. It was the worst thing. Very less than 100 people came to watch my show. Most people thought that it was a real get rich motivational seminar. A lot of people who, like, I had 4 walkouts, but this, in proportion to the people who came and see my show, is a lot of people. So 4 walkouts in the whole run. They walked out the moment they found out the seminar was a parody theater show. They were expecting to see a real thing, as you may have heard in another video. I had a flyer try to extort money from me and try to smear my name, and terrible person. This happened. He was hired to do flyering while I was in character in the middle of Bristol Square. He sneaked out in the middle of the shift, was nowhere to be seen, and then he came to see my show as per invitation of the production company, just to see if, that's more. We wanted to inform people about what the show was so they could flyer with more property. And he walked out 20 minutes into the show after being on his phone the whole time. Of course, you don't want someone who doesn't like your show pushing for people to see your show. You don't want these people in your team. But mostly he had like abhorrent behavior. He gathered complaints from my venue, from the other flyer, from the usher, from the technician, from everyone. So he was let go without pay. There's a disclaimer. I had already paid the full amount for flyering services to the production company who dealt with my show this year. And he went on Facebook and started saying that I had personally told him that I wouldn't pay him, which is a blatant lie, because I didn't even speak to him after he walked out of the show. And the point is not walking out of the show, which he said he had done because he had something else to do. When the producer's assistant said, "Do you want to see the show? We're gonna give you a free ticket. Are you available?" Yes. And a lot of people from Free Fringe were saying that I should pay him to watch the show because it's his time. Well, if you are offered a free ticket, you can always say I'm on the clock, so I can't take a free ticket. If you want me to watch the show because you think it's gonna improve my pitch, then pay me. So if you say yes, you are entering this contract when you say you have time to see it until the end. Anyway, this guy wanted twice the money that he was promised. Saying that he carried my banner in the rain and he worked so hard for my show. This guy was so shit that after all his so-called hard work, no one showed up for the show. Yeah, and he disappeared. He didn't do the job he was hired to do. After this episode, I had a man stalking me physically after a post I made on Facebook on a group for performers about my show being a mess to market, because a lot of people were thinking it was real. This guy started commenting. A lot of people started commenting, so I couldn't keep track. Weirder and weirder comments, and I know that a lot of people in the group, everyone is a performer, we're all artists, everyone wants to up each other's hilariousness. So I just asked him, what do you mean by those things that he was saying? And he had a very uncalled for, out of the blue, aggressive reaction, saying that, "Hey, see, you're becoming too hard work now. I don't have time to answer to all your questions." It was one question. What do you mean? And I'm gonna require a level of an intellectual level of Edinburgh University essay to reply to all your questions. Anyway, I thought the comment was a bit off. So I reported the comment and it was deleted, and I thought it was the end of it. And the morning after, there was another 500-word essay of a comment, angry because his previous comment had been deleted. And he was saying that he was going to buy a ticket to my show and post the stub in the group, and maybe he wouldn't even show up to my venue because maybe he would be persona non grata. So I asked my technician that day to be aware that I might have a heckler. The heckling didn't happen, but 30 minutes into the show, in comes a man, sits in the back, is silent, and at the end of the show, I sell a book. That's a book that I made for my is my previous show, for the previous last year's show. I made it into a book. So I said, if you like my writing, if you like, you can buy my book. It's only £5. So quite a few people bought the book that day, and including this man. He introduced himself as the person from Facebook, and he asked me to write a dedication. And everybody left the theater, and he kept in there insisting about, fixated on the Facebook comment that had been deleted. And he started saying that I stole his line to put on the new flyer, because remember, I had to design new flyers. I really still didn't know what he meant about like what line, and he thought that I was inviting him to more contact because I used his line, just like, okay, sorry, but what line? And it was a tiny line that's very common, that is in the middle of my new flyer. The line is, where do I sign? Because the new flyer had the character Kasha Bling with the money fan saying, learn my secret to make 10K per week. And there was an Instagram reply by Gullible Gemma 63 saying, where do I sign? #mompreneur. And he thought that I had copied the line from him, because apparently he wrote this same line in the Facebook feed where my original post was. Anyway, he was kicked out of the room by the usher. They said, sorry, someone else needs to, another group has to be here to set up for their show at 8:30. And he said he was going to wait for me downstairs. The venue manager offered me to leave through the fire escape, not to have to talk to the guy. But I thought, you know what, like the flyer is already like saying that I am this, I am that, and a lot of people who have no idea who I am, no idea what actually happened, are already like, this bitch boycott her show. So I thought, like, I don't need another person saying bad things about me on social media on the same week, because people are gonna think that it's not that Christina has bad luck, it's because there's a lot of people complaining, so she must be shit. And I thought, okay, he said he liked the show, he bought the book, I'm just gonna like thank him and I'm gonna leave. But then downstairs he was still waiting. 15 minutes later, he was insisting about the Facebook comment, and that was deleted, and he was trying to explain to me that the comment was actually hilarious and I didn't understand it because of grammar. You know, when someone says it's probably a language barrier because you're a foreigner, there you go, right? And he also said that he was actually talking to the character, not to me. And that is very confusing when I am this persona that I am portraying and I'm not this persona. Maybe I am the character, and everything is very confusing. So it's like crazy. And in the end he said, how old are you? Never a good start of phrase. Because your show seems like it's so hard work. I can see that you work so hard. I don't know how much of these lines you have memorized or how much of it is ad-libbed, but it seems like you work so hard, and your venue is empty. My show is bingo. That's my show. We just play bingo, and the venue is always full and we always have a blast. So maybe I would like to see myself as you from the future coming here to teach you a lesson. Maybe there's a lesson for you in this. At which point I thought that there is not even civilized answers, like coherent lessons that I can answers that I can give him. So I just thanked him for his time, and I left, and I thought it was the end of it. He said it was because I am 59. Yeah, that's it. I'm 59 and I wanna see as myself as you from the future. So I thought, okay, this is a man in a midlife crisis with a very fragile ego, obsessed about a Facebook comment that was deleted. So I am going to leave him alone and thank him for his time, and this is going to be the end of it. But one day later, I finish my show and someone from the venue comes to me and says, Christina, you have a parcel. There's a parcel for you. I open this bunch of A4 papers taped together with silver tape, and it's actually my book that he bought, all scribbled over. There is a badge made with my face that he cut from the big Edinburgh Fringe guide, and he made an official bag, like a proper bag. It's not like DIY glued on top of a bag, a badge, it's a proper badge, piercing my book, piercing the cover of my book. There's a lot of scribblings inside the book, which include, I have read the book already, you can reuse it in pen all over my book, and a lot of comps, free tickets for his show, and a lot of random promotional stationery for his show inside. And he had since left a review for my show saying that he loved it, and it was, again, is amazing how we live in this wobbly world where we don't know, where reality coexists with fiction. I don't know, like very crazy, very disturbing. So the venue management immediately called Fringe participant services and my producer and the admin for that Facebook group, and everyone said, call the police, you have to go to the police and report this guy. So this happened in the Fringe as well. So many things happened, so many personal things, like my nan passed away, and I didn't cancel the show because she wouldn't have canceled her show for me. She was such a strong woman, and I'm pretty sure she just decided that was it. It was very quick after something that happened to her. She was a very strong woman, very active woman in her 90s. She was the most popular girl in the living, like the assistants cared, like the living facility, not assistants, but like those buildings where you have your own room and you can have lunch downstairs and activity downstairs for elderly. She lived there with my grandfather, who is still here with us, and he's 99. So in her 90s, and she was so active and stuff. So this happened to, and that's yesterday I was trying to go back home from Edinburgh to London, and the train ticket was £147. They kept selling tickets even when there weren't any more seats available. So me and a lot of other people, including mothers with young babies, babies are always young, mothers and babies, and a lot of people were just traveling 6 hours, standing. Some carriages didn't have air conditioning. A young boy threw up when I was carrying the throw bag the whole time with him in the carriage where I was. So poor guy, but also the smell started being, because the aircon was broken. I'm really glad this Fringe is over. One of my flatmates stole food from the fridge. I am glad. This video is gonna be 15 minutes, but I'm gonna tell you something. I am very glad that this was the worst Fringe ever, because this means that there cannot be possibly a worse Fringe than that. And I was going to say all the positive things that happened in this Fringe in this video, but I want to create a different video because all the bad things should remain alone. And if you are accompanying my journey, you're gonna see how bad this was. Now you can see another video only with the positive things. You don't get to hear positivity after 15 minutes of saying all the things that went wrong. 2020, Australia, Edinburgh, whatever. Let's put this behind us and pretend it never happened. See you soon.